everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Felicia Howell, and I work as the Family and Community Engagement Specialist in the Office of Family and Community Engagement. So let me just say welcome. And this is a part of Parent University. Just kind of give you a little information. Parent University are free sessions that we offer our families to connect with their students in regards to learning, and also to support families and build their capacity around things that their students are learning in schools, and then to help support you as well. This is a great opportunity, holiday blues. And so I know that you're going to gain some great information here. I know that I've experienced holiday blues before. And so I think this is going to be a great opportunity for you to learn and give you some support and to support your children as well. So welcome to our session this evening. Thank you, Julie.
Hi, everybody. My name is Julie Hiller. I will serve as your moderator tonight for our program, How to Prevent the Holiday Blues. And so as we begin, I just want to know that each year the holidays roll around, and each year we feel the pressure of the holiday season. Kind of looking at with ads on TV, with the lavish gift giving, the perfect decorations, baking to perfection, and gifts and glitter is just everywhere. It also seems so overwhelming and stressful. Today's program is about balancing expectations of the holiday season and how to let gratitude and joy lead the season of celebration. So, and it's all about setting those expectations that we can meet and learn ways to best meet our own self-care needs in a season of helping others and celebrating the joy and the true meaning of the season. So tonight's program, I want to start out with introducing our featured speakers. Will be Christine Jacobs from Children's. She is a child family therapist at Children's Wisconsin, who works in our school-based mental health clinic at the Knapp Elementary Community School. And she'll provide us, also to provide us with some great web-based community resources located at our Racine County Family Resources website, will be Holly White, project coordinator for the Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin. And so Holly's with us if you want to kind of give a wave out, Holly. Next, who we have also is Michelle Gehring. She is our executive director at NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, Racine County. And she's going to help us too and just kind of discuss services that are offered to help support our families during this time as well. So I'm really honored to be with a great group of panelists and hopefully having a great discussion. And at the end of the program, we're going to have time for questions that you may have. So please, you can at that point unmute yourself or place your questions in the chat, and we'll continue our conversation. So to kind of kick off, Christine, I'm going to start with you. You know, like I talked about, the holidays are so exciting and fun. You know, it's kind of like people making the perfect cookies, the perfect gift is wrapped with the bows and everything. And sometimes, you know, we just can't get there. We can't feel it. We feel these expectations are really just driving us. So why do people find themselves struggling during this time? And, you know, is it normal?
Yeah, great question. I got to say thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here and talk about this important topic. So the holiday blues, is that a real thing? Is it a mental health diagnosis? You may have also heard sort of this urban legend that suicide rates increase during the holidays. Well, so let me unpack a little bit of this. First of all, that fact is not actually true. That's one of those things that just gets told time and again, but turns out for suicide rates, the months of November, December, and January are the lowest. That doesn't mean people don't feel more sadness, depression, anxiety, and stress during kind of the period between Thanksgiving and New Year's. There's not a lot of research on this topic, but I was able to find some studies that report people feeling definitely an abundance of positive feelings. So I think that's hopeful that a lot of us, many of us, the majority of us do feel positive emotions. Things like love, connection, happiness during the holiday time. And there is also, for some people, an increase in negative emotions. One study from 2006, the American Psychological Association said 38% of respondents report increased stress. So stress and fatigue, feelings and emotions like that do, for some people, compound during this time of year. So it seems like the term holiday blues is referencing this increase in negative emotions while also experiencing positive emotions. You can have both. And the idea here, though, is that holiday blues, it's the kind of feelings and the stress and fatigue that accompany this time period and then go away. So it is important to distinguish something like maybe a more ongoing problem like depression or anxiety, where a person might experience these feelings and symptoms after the holidays. So that could be a sign of a more serious problem. But on the other hand, some people notice these things just accompany this holiday season. One other thing I'd like to mention is that also for people who already experience mental illness, they often find that the holidays worsen their symptoms. In fact, a study by NAMI shows 64% of people with mental illness report the holidays make their conditions worse. So we'll go more into how to take care of yourself and how to kind of be on the lookout for changes in others.
As you talk about just the symptoms in the holiday blues, what can help with these complicated feelings?
Yeah. So if you think about kind of why are we having positive emotions and negative emotions increase during this time, I like to think of a budget or a internal little check and balance system that all of us have, where we can consider some activities nurturing and some activities depleting. So for instance, things that are nurturing, it's going to be different for everybody, but healthy eating, exercise, sleep, relaxation, spirituality, hobbies, and time with friends. So for any given person, those might be some of their nurturing activities. And you can sort of think about your own self, and I think about myself, how with the busyness of the holidays, some of these nurturing activities I don't have time for. So they start to fall off, kind of that balance. The weather's changing. So things that we might spend time outdoors, doing more exercise, for instance, it becomes a bigger burden with the weather, especially a day like today, for instance, who wants to go outside? And then we lose daylight. So there's just a seasonal aspect. These really important holidays fall around winter, which is harder. We have less daylight, and our body systems, a lot of people experience a change from less daylight. And then, we just are off routine. Everything schedule-wise takes a back seat to celebrating. So the nurturing activities drop off. And then we look at activities that might be depleting, things that are maybe part of our daily life, obligations, expectations, but they take our energy. Things like repetitive, boring tasks, taking care of others, ruminating or dwelling on the past, comparing ourselves to others, too high of expectations, the news media, and drugs and alcohol. So depending on the individual, those kind of activities might drain and deplete well-being or energy of a particular individual. And again, if you kind of think through that list and think about the holiday season, there's reasons why those activities might actually increase. We taking care of others with kids out of school, there might be more childcare needs. Not that our kids don't really, fill us up in a lot of ways, but that's hard. That's an energy drain. And then lots of thoughts come up about the holidays. So a lot happens up in our headspace that maybe doesn't happen other times of year. So for a lot of people, the balance gets just slightly shifted or maybe majorly shifted, where there's less time for the nurturing activities and unfortunately more of the depleting activities just kind of creep in and take over.
So as you mentioned, it can be really normal to feel overwhelmed, overscheduled, or, simply drained. I mean, that this time of year kind of creates that. So what happens if someone feels they just, you talked a little bit about this, how we drop off on our self-care. What can we do? What are some tips that you can help us with getting back to that self-care?
Yeah, it's hard because it sounds like, oh, I've got to do one more thing. But something simple that a person could even do tonight, or as the holiday season is, as we're really ramping up into it, make a list. What is your daily schedule like, or a week's worth of activities? And look through things that are depleting and nurturing, label them and see where your balance is. And if you notice you're really out of balance, pick one thing. The holidays are really hard if we have all or nothing thinking. You're not gonna make a giant lifestyle change during this really stressful time, but could you pick one or two things to add to your plate that are gonna nurture you? Or maybe one or two things to take off, to delegate or shift, or simply just, it's okay to say no and set limits. So kind of remove yourself from some depleting activities. So make a list and think of one thing and set a goal. It's really, again, not about all or nothing, but is there one thing you can make a little step on and commit to over the holidays?
I love that term of just what you're talking about, that balance, kind of not, all or nothing, but what's the middle ground. So that is such a great opportunity for us. But as we start to, kind of think in another, issue that really is hard and may create more holiday blues is, with the pandemic, feelings of grief and loss can be present. And there's a lot of us, that have been touched by the COVID, loss of loved ones certainly has been there during this time. And for some of us, there's other losses to other varying degree, loss of things we're missing out on our lives. Our lives have changed because of COVID. Why do the holidays bring up memories of our lost loved ones? And do you have any tips about how to cope with the loss during the holidays, especially maybe for some families, this is our first Christmas without our loved one, and just kind of would like to hear from you about that.
Yeah, it's very natural and normal that the holidays bring up memories. We spend time and we create memories with family and important people throughout our lives. And the holidays are real they're associated heavily with memories. So when the holidays come up, it may trigger or bring back a lot of memories about different connections and important people in our life. So it's really normal that those memories come back strongly during the holidays, and they can be overwhelming, adding to the already feelings of overwhelm and kind of that depleting activities. So first things first, be kind to yourself. Realize that the holidays might be hard if you have had losses, or this may be new for you. It might be hard just this year. Whichever the case is, if you're noticing feelings come up, it's okay. On that note, if you have kids and family, it's good to start a conversation about this and talk about how things might be different without a loved one this year. To talk about feelings. How is everyone feeling? And as a parent or supportive caregiver, normalize whatever your child is feeling or your family members are feeling is okay. Grief is very, very complicated. It brings up a lot of different emotions. And you don't have to fix. You're not going to make up for loss. So just accept and kind of model that and set that tone for your family. However anyone is feeling, wherever they're at is okay. Along with that, in the home, find ways to honor the memory of your loved one. I heard a really nice tip about a family who had a stocking for their family member who had passed, and they all wrote a letter and put it in the stocking. And they did this tradition every year. So it was a way to give a little message to their loved one and honor their memory. So things like that can be a new tradition to bring the memories and the loved one into the experience. And then also find ways to make connections with your family. So sometimes these feelings can pull people inward and draw them apart. So if there's ways that you can connect with your families, start new traditions, that's never never a bad idea. Even if you've done things a certain way, maybe the memories are a little too hard to bear. So you might want to change the way you do things and start a new tradition. Last, I'm going to encourage, well, actually got two other things. One is appreciate. Again, the sadness of the grief or some of these negative emotions can shut us off from connecting with other people. So to counteract that natural tendency, appreciate your family. Notice the things they're doing that you enjoy and that you like, and let them know. It always feels good to give and receive those kind of affirmations. And last, I want to say it's okay to set limits. If you have had a lot of loss and grief, you may not be up to the usual, whatever is there, there's ideas about some things being expected of you, but you know yourself. It's okay to set limits. No is a complete sentence. So you can just offer that, or you may need some boundaries, like telling a host, I'm only going to stay for an hour, and then it's up to you. You can really decide if you feel like you want to stay at an event, a social obligation, longer.
I think those are great tips. I think that is a great conversation. Christine, I want to thank you for spending the evening with us and giving us some really great ideas about how to manage our holiday blues and even how to balance our life a little bit better so we don't have to experience them. So that's been awesome. Now I kind of want to turn it over to Holly White. And she has been really instrumental in working on a project in Racine to increase access to and knowledge of mental health services that are available in Racine County. So I want to turn it over to Holly, kind of talk about our website that we have here in Racine County that lists all of our mental health and addiction resources. So Holly, I'm turning it over to you.
Cool, thank you. Apologize in advance for my voice. I promise I'm not as in pain as I sound. I'm fine. But I put it in the chat what the website is. It's racinecountyfamilyresources.com, all one word. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take 5 minutes and share my screen with you guys to give you just a high level of what you can find on here. And then, at the end, if you have any additional questions or you want to put them in the chat, I'll definitely take a look at that. Otherwise, again, the link is in the chat for you to explore on your own as well. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So here is our website. Again, racinecountyfamilyresources.com. There's tons of things on this website. Again, trying to keep it as high level as possible for time's sake. But the three kind of major components of the purpose of this website that I think will be helpful for you guys. The first one goes to mental health referral. So let's say that you or your child or someone you know is struggling beyond kind of this holiday blues. So somebody who may be experiencing long periods of sadness or a lot of like worries or anxiousness that they can't seem to control, or any sort of issues that you feel like an additional piece of support in terms of like a therapist, mental health provider. This is a really easy way to get connected to that. So on this main page, are you looking for a behavioral health provider? If you go here, we partnered with 10 different agencies across Racine who are actively taking clients and are receiving referrals through this method. So for talk therapy, as well as medication management. So in other words, a psychiatrist. So in a nutshell, basically you can just hit that you're looking for therapy. If you have either commercial insurance, state insurance, or no insurance, and you need some sort of sliding scale, you would mark that. So let's just say I have state insurance. I'm gonna go to next. then I'm only going to get providers who are, one, actively taking people, and two, they take state insurance. And so instead of going through some long list, because when we're already feeling overwhelmed with our lives or our kids, going through that, like a yellow pages does not really sound like a good time. So this just narrows down the options for you. So I'm just going to click the first one. So Catholic Charities. And then basically this is just a secure version of a Google form where it's going directly to the clinic that you clicked. So Catholic Charities. And basically you're just going to fill out some really basic information, either for yourself, you can complete the referral for yourself, or if you want to do it on behalf of your child, you can do that as well. You would just hit someone else. And then you're just going to fill this out, very basic, just who are you, what's going on generally, right? So you can check, different boxes of what's going on. Otherwise, in this other box, you can put like, my kid is struggling with focus and motivation to get out of bed, or whatever you want to put. How long it's been going on, what the HMO, so like Molina through my state insurance, and then how can the provider follow up with me? That's it. So then this gets sent directly to that clinic. And then you're hooked up with services. You'll hear back within 2 business days. You'll get something via email that says, thank you for your referral. It went through. You should hear back from Catholic Charities within 2 days. As just a really easy way to connect you to services rather than having to pick up the phone and call a lot of people when you don't know whose insurance they take or all that kind of stuff. The purpose of this is just to try to reduce the amount of barriers that you have to, or the hoops that you have to jump through in order to get yourself or your child some help. So that's the first part. Second part, resources, this tab up here. If you go here, you can either just type in our search or you can look by category. What we did was we basically took all of the resources that Racine has within the county for a variety, as you can see, a variety of different resources. So not just specific to mental health. So if you're looking for, it could be support groups or housing resources or energy assistance, what hours each food pantry is giving out food, or any of that kind of stuff. Basically any type of resource or information you're looking for that's local to us here. You can find that through our resource tab, or again, we have a search bar at the top that you can just type in whatever, and all of that will come up. And then lastly, this library portion basically is a ton of really great health information that's a lot easier to digest than like your WebMD that you don't understand half of what it's saying and it scares the crap out of you. This is a way to get some reliable health information and a variety of different topics, physical health, mental health. So like I can go to, let's say, for example, kind of a common area that people seem to search often is substance use. And so tons of great information around substance use, what it is, what it looks like, what are some interventions, what are some tools. We have interactive tools to kind of walk you through to flag if there's an issue. I think since the start of COVID, a lot of people have been looking at, is my drinking problematic? And so there are different tools that kind of walk you through to generally kind of flag if there might be an issue there. None of this is to replace a therapist by any means, but just to kind of flag if there's an issue, or you're just kind of doing some research on something that might be impacting you or your family. So in a nutshell, I know high level overview, and I'll look at the chat here in just a second. But this is supposed to just be like a one-stop shop for things that are available in Racine. Any type of general resource that's available specifically in the county, a library of health information that would be, would apply to wherever you live, but some really great information. And then on that main page, the first thing that I showed you, a quick way to get connected to a mental health therapist and or a psychiatrist. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. I will check the chat. And again, I will make sure the link is in there, but high level overview. So check it out.
Hey, thanks, Holly, for that. I thought that was really great information, and it's something that we can share with our family and friends too, who are perhaps looking for more information and general information. And so it's just a great way to connect and stay connected. I think the hardest thing for Racine has always been, where is the information located and how can I get it? So this website having everything in one location. And so not only your mental health and addiction resources, there's other support groups, food, crisis services. So it's awesome, a great way to do that. So now what I want to do is just kind of bring Michelle Gearing into our conversation as well. NAMI Racine County has been in our community. They have really served as a guiding post for us when it comes to mental health supports, as well as education and advocacy in our community. And so really helping to support our community, our family, even our friends when we were suffering with some mental health issues. And so I want to turn it over to Michelle to kind of really talk about your support programs that you have that you can offer to our families.
Let me unmute. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Julie. First, I'll share my email because I'm going to share a screen and then I'll share our website. So NAMI certainly has advocacy, education, and support. And, we see it even in our own employees and our volunteers over the holiday season, just balancing holidays with work, the expectations of families and meetings. For a lot of us, we didn't get to see family last year because of COVID. And some of those emotions can be kind of overwhelming. And, also we have some interns this year and we're learning from them also. So college students, this is the end of their semester and they're young. So they're balancing finals, some of their final papers, and then their work projects and families. So we offer a number of support programs based on the peer support model. So when we say peer, it really means a fellow person who has lived experience with a mental illness. So we do offer two options for peer support. We have it in person at NAMI every Monday, and then also every other Thursday. And you can see the dates over here. And then we do a virtual option every other Thursday, and we are meeting this Thursday at 2. And you can send either an email here or to my email, and we'll send you a Zoom link. And it's the same Zoom every 2 weeks, the same Zoom link. So if you can't come every week, it's come as you are, come when you can. There's no start or end or projects that we work on. It's all a peer mediated formula. So anyone affected by mental illness is welcome. We also have a family support group, which meets the first Tuesday of the month, which is, I guess, is today now. And we'll be meeting again next month. We're doing it every other week, but there wasn't much of a demand for it over the summer and early autumn. So, if as providers or family members, if you would be so kind as to keep us in mind to share this information. We also have a Zoom option for the family support groups. So if you can't come in person, we're happy to have you on Zoom. And then same with Teen Talk. We tried to start it this past Monday. And this group, Christine Jacobs, who's here, this is the only group that we have a licensed therapist facilitating, as well as a young person who is trained to co-facilitate. That's the first Monday of every month. And then on the second Wednesday of each month, we have what's called solos, and that is survivors of a loved one's suicide. All of our programs are no cost, we don't require, proof of a diagnosis. It's all, and there's no pressure to participate. If you just want to come the first time and listen and check us out, we are more than happy to have you or your loved one or a fellow peer. And we would be happy to answer any more questions. And if you have people in mind and you want to share this information, feel free. So I will add the website here. But yeah, so thanks for letting me share that information.
And I want to, first of all, before we end our program and we go into question and answer, which I'm going to stop recording so that we can have just privacy and answering other questions. But I want to thank our panelists tonight, Christine Jacobs from Children's Wisconsin, Holly White from the Healthier Wisconsin Partnership Program, and Michelle Gehring from Nami Racine County, as well as Felicia Howe, helping with the program tonight and supporting us through Parent University at Racine Unified School District. So I am going to stop recording, and then we are going to go into our question phase of this program.